Lithium-ion batteries nowadays are omnipresent. They are applied in all kinds of consumer electronic devices, in electromobility, and should contribute to the balancing of renewable power generation and consumption. Whereas, for example, lead-acid batteries or nickel-cadmium batteries always consist of the same materials and cell components, with lithium-ion batteries the most different materials are combined together. A lot of research is done with those material compositions, for example to optimize energy density or power density or to increase safety aspects. Already in the year 1970, researchers from TU München investigated the basic principle of lithium-ion batteries and published first results. But practical use of this new technology hasn't been considered at that time. In the year 1991, the first commercially available and rechargeable lithium-ion cell has been invented and produced by Sony. It has been applied to the video camera CCD TR1. Anode material has been made of amorphous carbon. The cathode material has been made out of lithium-cobalt-dioxide. This cell has been patented by John B. Goodenough in the year 1981. As a consequence of these first successes, the company Sanyo continued developing this battery type and invented a lithium-ion cell with graphite as anode material. This material is used until today as an electrode material. A cell is the smallest unit within a battery system, which is composed out of several cells. A lithium-ion cell, as well as all batteries, consists of an anode and a cathode, an electrolyte and a separator. The negative electrode, the anode, consists of a copper foil and amorphous carbon. The copper foil is approximately 10 micrometers thick and is conducting the electric current. On top of the copper foil, there is a layer of around 60 micrometers consisting of amorphous carbon. In most battery types, it's graphite. This host material has the task during the charging process to intercalate the lithium ions. The separator is the electrically isolating and mechanically stable protection layer in between the two electrodes of the cell. It needs to prevent a short circuit, and even with high temperatures of up to 90 degrees, it needs to be long-term stable. As a material, often highly porous plastic foils are used. These are transparent for lithium ions, but not for electrons. The thickness of the separator is between 20 and 25 micrometers. The positive electrode, the cathode, is made out of an aluminum foil and metal oxide. The aluminum foil is approximately 15 micrometers thick and takes over the function of conductivity on the cathode side. The thickness of the metal oxide varies a lot and depends on the material used and other cell characteristics. For example, with nickel manganese cobalt, it is around 150 micrometer. The cathode functions as intercalation material on the positive electrode. All mentioned elements are surrounded by an electrically conductive electrolyte. In lithium-ion cells, electrolytes are of organic nature and do not contain water and have to provide an excellent conductivity for the lithium ions. Within a lithium battery, several of those layers are put together. Depending on the battery housing, those stacks are either stapled or rolled. There are 3 different types distinguished. First, the pouch cell. It is also named coffee bag cell, as it is welded in a vacuum with an aluminum foil similar to a package of coffee. This type is applied in electronic devices as consumer applications like smartphones and laptops, and is also increasingly applied within e-cars. Due to the low weight of the housing, bigger energy densities can be achieved. A disadvantage is that this type has been safety problems due to its flexible and not so stable housing. Second, the prismatic cell with its robust housing is increasingly used in automotive industry as well as in home and industry applications. The housing is mostly made of aluminium containing all the cells. In case of overcharging or as a consequence of an internal short circuit, the safety valve opens and the formed gases can escape. From a safety aspect, the prismatic cell is the best one. Third, the cylindric 18650 cell. It has its name as the diameter of the cell is 18 mm and the length is 65 mm. It is also named as the classical laptop cell, as it originally has been developed for that purpose. With this type of cell, a lot of research has been done and it has a good safety behavior. Therefore, it is widely applied. As already mentioned, lithium batteries not only can be distinguished according to their housings. Deciding for the mean voltage, capacity, safety, stability, and price depends on the selection of the applied materials for the active parts, for the electrolyte and the separator. Graphite is nowadays the standard for the active material, the negative electrode, the anode. It has good safety properties, allows high energy densities. Apart from graphite, also lithium metals, amorphous carbon, lithium alloys, metal oxides or lithium titanate are used as anode material. Also many different cathode materials have been developed. This typically consists of metal oxides. The most known are lithium-cobalt-dioxide, lithium-nickel-manganese oxide and lithium iron phosphate. All three have different advantages and disadvantages. Lithium-cobalt-dioxide has been used in the first commercially available cell and is still the most common material for the positive electrode. It has a high mean discharge voltage, which goes along with a high energy density. Problematic with this material is that safety is considered to be critical when the battery is overcharged or operated at very high temperatures. This is the consequence of an exothermal reaction that can decompose the material. Lithium-nickel-cobalt-manganese oxide is a composition made of these materials. A certain mixture of these materials results in a lattice structure. The aim is to combine all the positive characteristics of the single materials. These are the high current ability of nickel, the high capacity of cobalt, and the overcharging stability of manganese. The voltage course with discharging varies a lot. Lithium iron phosphate has the advantage of high thermal stability and possesses a very flat voltage course. That means with charging and discharging the voltage level only slightly changes. The material is stable, low cost and has excellent safety and aging characteristics. Therefore, this material is often used in traction applications. The disadvantage is the bad conductivity due to the structure of the material. As further active material, lithium nickel oxide, lithium manganese oxide, and in future also silicon can be named. Lithium-ion batteries, in comparison to lead-acid or nickel-cadmium batteries, possess a higher energy density and have a different basic chemical principle. They contain lithium only as atoms or ions, and it is the active part within the battery. When charging a lithium-ion cell, the lithium ions move from the positive electrode through the electrolyte towards the negative electrode. Electrons are transported via the external circuit towards the negative electrode and combine with the lithium ions. The now electrically neutral lithium atoms are intercalated within the graphite anode. When discharging, the process goes vice versa. Lithium atoms give electrons to the external circuit and the remaining lithium ions are transported through the electrolyte towards the cathode. There they again are linked together with the electrons and again are intercalated into the positive electrode. An important aspect with lithium-ion batteries is the safety aspect. When a cell is short-circuited, overloaded or has a too high temperature, an exothermal reaction is the consequence and the cell materials are decomposed. First, the so-called venting occurs. That means the cell opens and gases are released. The problem here is that the escaping gases together with the oxygen of the air compose a flammable gas and the cell is getting a burn down. In order to prevent this, lithium-ion batteries always need to be equipped with a battery management system that monitors the cell voltage, temperature and currents. In case certain thresholds are exceeded, the battery is disconnected from either the current source for charging or the electric consumers discharging the battery.